listening to the international hit show, The Baby Names Podcast. And here are your hosts, the Moss Sisters.
I'm Jennifer Moss.
And I'm Mallory Moss.
And we're the founders of babynames.com.
And we're sisters too.
We are. Our first segment is always interesting names that we found since the last episode. Mel, why don't you go first?
Well, I have a couple of names. I heard the name Malone. I like it and haven't heard it being used much. The nickname could be Mal. I like it as an alternative to Malcolm, and it followed the trend of using last names as first names. It's also not on the top 1,000 names according to the Social Security list. Therefore, it also meets the frequent criteria that we get from people that a name not be too popular. It is of Irish origin and means devoted to St. John.
Cool.
All right. Well, also in honor of her several Grammy nominations, I wanted to do a shout out to my favorite Lizzo song, Jerome. Jerome. We don't see that name used much anymore, but now I am curious if it'll have an increase in popularity. However, it's not very complimentary to Jerome, as he needs to come back when you're grown. I love Lizzo. Of note, her real name is Melissa Vivian Johnson.
Cool. I think of Jerry Seinfeld because, like, when people were mad at him, they'd call him Jerome.
Was that his name?
I don't know.
Oh.
So my name I found online on YouTube is Cremaine, Cremaine.
Mm-hmm.
And Cremaine Booker is this amazing cellist, and he does YouTube videos and he records, but he's also the principal cello for the Nashville Philharmonic Orchestra.
Okay.
So Cremaine is a created name, probably from the name Tremaine with a T. That's a common surname. So it's possible that his parents took Tremaine and just put a C in the place of a T, which is a common way to create a new name.
Right. We see that all the time.
Right. Tremaine as a surname is Celtic, meaning a family from the parish of Tremaine in the county of Cornwall, UK. So it's a place name, and it literally means circled by stone. So check out Cremaine Booker on his YouTube channel, That Cello Guy. And I must add that Tremaine is also the last name of the evil stepmother and stepsisters in Disney's Cinderella, which brings us to the topic of the week.
Woohoo!
Disney names. So unless you've been living on Mars, you'll know that Disney refers to the entertainment company started by illustrator Walt Disney in 1923. Walt's full name was Walter Elias Disney. I like the name Elias. That's cool. And he was born in Chicago. Did you know that?
Nope.
I did not. In 1901, he started the Disney Brothers studio with his brother Roy and his BFF Ub Iwerks.
That's a great name, Ub Iwerks. Ub was German by descent, originally named Ubi Ert. Ubi Art.
I gave you the pronunciation right there.
Ubu Ert Ivarks.
Uba et Ivark.
Okay, well, that name. So legend goes that in their little Disney Animation Company offices, Walt Disney had a pet mouse that used to hang around his desk. This inspired Ub to create an iconic cartoon character.
Walt had originally named the cartoon character Mortimer Mouse, but his wife Lillian convinced him to change it. She said Mortimer Mouse sounded too depressing or serious, so she recommended that he call the character Mickey Mouse because that sounded fun and happier.
Mortimer Mouse, by the way, ended up being another character, a rival of Mickey Mouse, an ex-boyfriend of Minnie's. I wonder if Lillian had an ex named Mortimer, and that's why she changed Mickey's name.
Interesting. Now, the name Mickey is originally a nickname for the name Michael, the meaning of which is who is like God, ? The meaning is actually a question, like who could ever be as great as God. Mickey itself has never really been in the top 100 in the U.S. as a given name, most probably due to its association with the cartoon character.
Yeah, definitely. Minnie Mouse's full name is Minerva, which appeared in her first couple of comics, but rarely used after that. Her father's name is Marcus. She has an uncle Milton, grandparents Marvel Mouse and Matilda Mouse, and she has twin nieces Millie and Melody Mouse. Do you see a pattern?
Yep. Now, the other original cartoon characters in the Mickey Mouse universe include Donald Duck, Goofy the dog, and Pluto the dog, although Goofy could talk and Pluto couldn't, and I never could reconcile that anyway. Daisy Duck. Daisy is becoming a huge name nowadays because of the flower name trend. Scrooge McDuck. Scrooge is not a popular name. Huey, Dewey, and Louie, all ducks. Chip and Dale and Clarice, which were chipmunks. Oswald the Lucky Rabbit, Hortensia the Cat, Oswald's wife, Clarabelle Cow, and Pete, another Mickey Mouse nemesis, who was originally a bear and then morphed into a big cat, Max Goof, son of Goofy, Horace Horsecollar, and Clara Cluck, the operatic chicken.
Does that mean Goofy's real name was Goofy Goof?
I guess so. Goofy the Goof. So most of the original Disney characters were anthropomorphized, there's that word again, and were given people names.
I'm sorry, I have to go back to Goofy Goof. It sounds like a rapper.
Apparently so. So those were the OG Disney characters. And now as we go through the history of Disney names, we might touch upon those that were adapted from other sources, like fairy tales and books, but we want to stick with Disney-created names. Now, when it comes to the adaptations, some stock characters have their original names, and then minor characters, maybe not named in the original stories, were actually named by Disney to make them more human. Like in the first full-length Disney animated film, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
The name Snow White was given to the title character by the Brothers Grimm, who originally wrote the story. The dwarves were not named in the original tale. They were first named in the 1912 stage adaptation of Snow White. In the stage play, their names were Blick, Flick, Glick, Plick, Snick, Quick, and Quee. Why Quee? It doesn't match the rhyming scheme. Anyway, I don't see any good baby names there.
Nope. Don't name your kid Quee. In the 1937 Disney film, the Disney staff named the Seven Dwarfs after personalities we all know: Grumpy, Happy, Sleepy, Sneezy, Dopey, Bashful, and Doc, who was the leader. So I guess he was supposed to be smart. It said that they brainstormed about 50 different names for the dwarfs, and some that didn't make the cut were Jumpy, Dizzy, Hickey, Wheezy, Baldy, Gabby, Nifty, Sniffy, Swift, Lazy, Puffy, Stuffy, Tubby, Shorty, Daffy, and Burpy.
Oh my God. Well, if I had to be any of them, I'd be Nifty.
Okay.
But Duffy, that's terrible. I'm glad they didn't name one Duffy.
Me too.
You know, the evil queen had an actual name. She was Queen Grimhilda. Grimhilda was taken from Old Norse mythology. Grimhild was a powerful Amazon-like queen who was beautiful yet evil. She was married to King whatever, and they had 3 sons. Guke! They had 3 sons, Gunnar, Hokni, and Guttormr, and a daughter, Gudrun.
Ha ha ha, I gave you that line on purpose.
I bet you did.
Although I've heard of Snow as a baby name, it has not made it into the top 1,000 in U.S. births. I think it's pretty, though. If you can name a baby apple, you can surely name a baby Snow.
Yeah, but Snow makes me think of cocaine.
Oh, okay. I don't have that association.
Also, fun fact, Snow White was the first Disney princess and the first female fictional character with a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Can you guess who was the first male fictional character with a star?
Mickey Mouse?
Yep. And believe it or not, Minnie just got her star in 2018.
What?
Tinkerbell got hers in 2010.
Shh, no fair. Minnie should have been first. Now, speaking of Tinkerbell, although she is one of the most popular Disney characters, she was actually named by author J.M. Barrie in his 1904 stage play, Peter Pan. And it was 2 words, Tinker Bell, without the E. In an early draft of the play, Barry had named her Tippy Toe, or Tippy for short, but he changed it to Tinker Belle, 2 words, because she was a fairy who mended pots and kettles like an actual tinker, and her speech consists of the sound of a tinkling bell.
Interesting. So let's move on to the Disney princesses, since they are some of the most iconic Disney characters of all. The current official list, according to Disney.com, is Snow White, Cinderella, Aurora, Ariel, Belle, Jasmine, Pocahontas, Mulan, Tiana, Rapunzel, Merida, and Moana. There is an upcoming African princess that will be added, and her name is Sade, from a film of the same name.
Ooh, Sade like the singer. Sade is an African Yoruba name, a short form of Folúshade, meaning honor earns a crown. There is some controversy with other characters who are not official Disney princesses, but maybe should be, like Megara from Hercules. Technically, she's a princess because she's the daughter of King Creon. And Mia Thermopolis from Princess Diaries, played by Anne Hathaway, technically a princess.
And since Star Wars is now a Disney entity, Princess Leia is technically a Disney... Oh, I hate this. This is terrible. I don't want her to be a Disney princess.
Why?
I don't know. She's stronger than most.
Because she's strong?
Yes. But we're not going to go into all the Star Wars characters in this show. That deserves its own episode.
Ooh, names from Star Wars. Yeah, I'm going to put that on the list. I'd have to catch up, though. So, have Disney princesses influenced baby naming? Well, no one is quite naming their children Snow White, Cinderella, Pocahontas, or Rapunzel, but Aurora has been climbing the charts. It didn't do much in the original release of Sleeping Beauty in 1959, but after the year 2000, it did hop onto the charts and is currently number 44 in U.S. births. Now, the movie Maleficent came out in 2014, where Elle Fanning played Aurora, so that might have helped the name come back.
One Disney princess that definitely had an influence on baby names was Ariel. The animated film was released in 1989, and between 1989 and 1992, the name jumped from number 209 in 1989 to number 66 in 1991. The popularity was short-lived, though. After 1992, Aurora started dropping in rank.
Ariel is still in the top 200, though. Now, I think Jasmine was kind of the other way around. It was already a pretty popular name, at least here in the U.S., by the time the movie came out in 1992. It was already number 24 in the charts. And there was no Princess Jasmine in the original Middle Eastern folktale Aladdin, so Disney did name her.
Tiana was Disney's first black princess, debuting in The Princess and the Frog in 2009. The name subsequently jumped almost 200 spots from 2009 to 2010, but never quite made it to the top of the charts. It's currently at number 660.
I like that name. It's pretty, Tiana. Mm-hmm. And I'd recommend it to parents who are looking for unique names but want some meaning behind it. Okay, Princess Merida of Dornbrook is the main character from the 2012 Disney Pixar film Brave. There really isn't a given name Merida, but it's possibly based on the Celtic name Mairead, M-A-I-R-E-A-D, meaning pearl.
Oh, from the same root as Margaret.
Yes.
And last but not least is Moana from the 2016 film of the same name about a Pacific Island princess. The name and title was changed overseas, though, to Vaiana, V-A-I-A-N-A, due to a trademark conflict. And in Italy, her name was changed to Oceana to avoid identification with Italian porn actress Moana Pozzi. Now, Moana is a Polynesian name popular in the Maori and Hawaiian languages. It means ocean or large body of water.
Yeah, and prior to the film release in 2016, the name Moana was not on any of the U.S. charts at all. But then it did make it onto the top 100 for the state of Hawaii in 2017, number 95. But then the following year, it dropped off the top 100. So that was a short baby name influence 1 year.
And although Elsa was not a princess, her character did influence baby naming, being a strong, iconic female character. And we don't know if the popularity of Esme came from Esmeralda or Esme from Twilight or both.
I'd say Twilight. Hunchback of Notre Dame came out in 96, and Twilight was first published in 05, and the movie came out in 08. And we first saw Esme on the babynames.com charts the next year in 2009, and it started trending in actual U.S. births in 2010.
Yeah, then you're right. It was Twilight. So next, we're going to suggest our favorite names from the Disney universe and suggest some not so popular names that you can use for your babies today, whether they are human or not. So if you have an alien baby, you can use it.
No, pets, like our last episode.
That's right.
Disney names are great for your fur babies, too.
Yeah, okay. I definitely like the name Tiana. I also like Ella, which is, of course, part of the name Cinderella. I'm not a fan of Elsa, so it's a nice alternative to Elsa, too. It's up there on the popularity list, though, and we cannot forget the name Nala from The Lion King, which may have an increase in popularity thanks to the release of the new version this year. It is an African name meaning successful.
Okay, I'm going to start with the girls. Even though Aurora is hard to pronounce, I like it as a name. Just don't have too many R's in your last name if you use it. Also, Sleeping Beauty's other name was Briar Rose. We talked about that name previously, and I think that's beautiful. Clarice, also mentioned in our Names from Horror episode.
Clarice.
Willow from Pocahontas. I have a friend named Willow, and she has a sister named Cedar. They're amazing women. I think Megara is cute from Hercules and a nice alternative to Megan or Maggie. Eudora is also from The Princess and the Frog, Eudora. And I like all the A names from The Little Mermaid. Ariel, Adela, Alana, Andrina, Arista, Atina, and Aquata.
Would you name a baby Aquata?
Maybe. I don't know.
How much does that cost? Aquata.
Aquata. For boys, Sebastian I love, even though it's a crab in Disney's Little Mermaid. From Beauty and the Beast, I love the French names Gaston, Lumière, and Maurice, although I know Lumière is not a real name, but it should be. Flynn from Tangled. Finnick from Zootopia. It's also a Hunger Games name. Jacques, J-A-Q, from Cinderella. Pepper from 101 Dalmatians. That's a great unisex name. I also like Fergus from Brave, Dante from Coco, Timon from The Lion King, and Zephyr from Hunchback of Notre Dame.
And of course, we have to discuss Disney names not to name your baby, besides Quee. And in my belief, not Pepper.
I like Pepper. That's a cute name.
No, P.U. Cruella would be one, also. Cruella de Vil, Cruella de Vil.
Did you know that Cruella de Vil's last name is spelled D-E-V-I-L, like devil?
I did catch that. Also, Maleficent would not be good. Sounds like malevolent, which I'm sure that's what they were going for. It sounds like Mallory, too, which means ill-omened, as we've discussed 1,000 times. Malevolent and magnificent together.
That's your new name, Maleficent Moss. You know, musician Pete Wentz gave his eldest son a Disney name, Bronx Mowgli, Mowgli being the lead boy in Jungle Book. Not sure how I feel about Mowgli. I think it sounds kind of teasable.
I think you could have changed it to Mog, M-O-G, and then that would have been a better name. Mog.
Mag.
All right. Huey, Dewey, and Louie are not so bad alone, but don't use them for triplets. I'd probably discourage you from using any of the 7 dwarves, both sets, of course. No Quee. Also, Scar. Well, who's going to name their baby Judge Doom? Nutsy and Oddball. Who are those?
Tramp, for sure, as in Lady Antha, unless it's a dog. And I'd say at this point in time, don't use Bambi.
Yeah, Bambi is a 1970s wannabe model who hangs out in Hugh Hefner's grotto.
Yep. And don't use Lucifer for obvious reasons. Jiminy Cricket, although I think Jiminy is kind of cute. I could see that taking off. No Tinkerbells, thank you. You can use Belle, though, as you mentioned before. Mm-hmm. Foul Fellow would be no good. And for sure, don't name your baby or pet Dumbo. That's mean.
Yeah, that's for sure. Ursula is a pretty fine name, but it's so identified with the blue scary thing from The Little Mermaid, I'm not sure it's safe to use anymore. Pop culture can make or break a baby name.
True. Now we're going to take a little break now, and when we come back, we're going to talk about names from the Mickey Mouse Club.
Ooh!
Did you know there were a bunch of new message boards in the baby names community? It's true. Join us while we gab about all sorts of topics: names, pregnancy, family life, celebrities, and more. Our members have been around for months, years, and even decades. It's such a fun and positive place to connect. Just go to babynames.com/join to create your free account. And we're back. And we're talking about Disney names. When television became mainstream in the 1950s, Disney jumped on the bandwagon, so to speak, and created the Mickey Mouse Club, a TV variety show aimed for kids. The Mickey Mouse Club originally aired from 1955 to 1958, and then was rebooted from 1977 to 79, and then again from 89 to 96. And I think there's now another reboot just online. At the start of each show, the kids named Mousketeers would introduce themselves with a roll call like this.
Roll call.
Cheryl.
Bobby.
Annette. Karen. Cubby. Sharon. Darlene.
Tommy.
Doreen.
Roy. Jimmy.
So proudly put on your Mousketeers. It's time to leave our Mousketeers.
Cubby's real name was Carl Patrick O'Brien, and Cubby is also the name of one of the Lost Boys from Peter Pan.
They even wore their names on the front of their sweaters, and their names were pretty generic, popular names for American kids born in the 40s. There were only two more offbeat names for 1955, that is, and that would be cast members Bronson Scott and Dallas Johann. Dallas Johann didn't last long, though. He was fired after only 2 weeks because he cried whenever the cameras were on him.
As far as diversity, the original 1950s cast was almost entirely Caucasian, with only 2 Hispanic children and no blacks. It was a reflection of television diversity, or lack of it, at the time. In fact, the most famous of the original Mousketeers, Annette Funicello, who went on to make beach movies with Frankie Avalon, actually wanted to change her name for the show.
Yeah, she did. Annette was recruited by Walt himself when he saw her in a school show, but she was ashamed of her Italian last name, Funicello. She asked Walt Disney if she could change it for the show because it sounded too ethnic, but he said no, it was memorable and would make her a star, and he was right. She was by far the most popular Mousketeer.
Now, there were some pretty famous people from the reboots, for sure.
Definitely. Mousketeers that went on to bigger things include John Stamos, who only appeared on one episode, Full House's Candace Cameron, NSYNC's JC Chazes.
Shazay, I think.
Shazay. Carrie Russell from Felicity and The Americans, one of my favorite shows.
And of course, we can't forget Justin, Brittany, and Christina. That's Justin Timberlake, Britney Spears, and Christina Aguilera, who were all originally Mousketeers.
Not a bad launching pad, I tell you.
Not at all. So that was the Mickey Mouse Club and the Mousketeers. And finally, to wrap things up, I figured we'd at least mention what Walt Disney named his own babies. He had 2 daughters.
The Disney daughters were Diane Marie, born in 1933, and Sharon May, adopted in 1936.
And cherry on the cake, the surname Disney is from a French surname. It's a locational surname, originally d'Isigny, d'Isigny, meaning from Isigny, France, a town in Normandy. Do you have a favorite Disney name or specifically used a Disney name for your child? Write us at podcast@babynames.com.
And now it's time for Celebrity Baby News.
On the last ep, we announced that Joseph and Kendra Duggar had a baby girl, Addison Renee. Well, in just the last 2 weeks, there's another Duggar in this world. Josiah and Lauren Duggar announced the arrival of their first child together, a little girl born on November 8th. They named her Bella Milagro, which means beautiful miracle. She was a miracle baby because Josiah and Lauren suffered a miscarriage last year in October.
And speaking of which, we had a couple losses recently. James Vanderbeek announced on Dancing with the Stars that he and wife Kimberly are mourning the miscarriage of what would have been their 6th child. They had suffered several other miscarriages, but not as late in the pregnancy. Kimberly had some health issues, but is doing great now.
Good.
And Alec and Hilaria Baldwin also suffered a pregnancy loss at 4 months along, which would have been their 5th child together. We wish both families condolences and peace.
Yeah, we are so sorry for anyone who suffers this devastating loss. Bachelor in Paradise alums Evan Bass and Carly Waddell welcomed their 2nd child on November 12th, a baby boy named Charles Wolf. And if that name sounds familiar, it's because this is the 3rd celeb who gave their child a version of it. Fashion designer Lauren Conrad, who gave birth last month, named her newborn son Charlie Wolf. And 2 years ago, actress Zooey Deschanel also named her baby Charlie Wolf. So what's with the wolf?
I don't know, but you can use different spellings for wolf, like the animal wolf and wolf with 2 F's and wolf with an E on the end. And I just want to inject here that when I was a little girl, I was told I could be anything I wanted. And when I responded, I said, I want to be a wolf. Anyway.
Sorry, that didn't work out for you.
No wolf for me. Okay, Stephen Twitch Boss from So You Think You Can Dance and the Ellen DeGeneres Show has welcomed his 3rd child and wife Allison Holker, also from So You Think You Can Dance. They had a girl and named her Zaya, Z-A-I-A. Oh, that's pretty. Like Maya with a Z. Zaya joins older sister Wesley, Allison's daughter from a previous relationship, and a big brother Maddox.
Actress Melissa Fumero from the TV show Brooklyn Nine-Nine has announced that she's expecting her 2nd child with husband David. The couple has one 3-year-old son named Enzo. I like that name, Enzo. It was originally a nickname for the names Vincenzo or Lorenzo.
Yeah, I definitely like the name Enzo, but I'm a sucker for Italian names, and they're trending too. Orange is the New Black star Danielle Brooks has welcomed her 1st child, a baby girl, on November 16th. She has not yet revealed the name of her child, but I bet it's not Tasty.
Yeah, Tasty's real name on the show is Tasha, so that would be cute, Tasha Brooks. Mm-hmm. And speaking of Orange is the New Black, Amanda Fuller, or Baddison on the show, has welcomed her 1st child into the world. She and husband Matthew Bryan Feld have given birth to a baby. Well, they both haven't given birth to a baby boy. She gave birth to a baby boy. No name has been revealed yet for Baddison's baby. This was also a miracle baby, though, because Amanda has battled chronic illness and endometriosis her entire life. And doctors told her it would be nearly impossible to have a child. So take that, doctors.
Yep.
And finally, here's a segment where we take questions from you, our listeners. Mal, why don't you read the first one?
All right. Well, hi there. I'm a name junkie like yourselves. And I heard on your podcast that you'll be doing a Disney name episode. Well, here it is. I'm excited as I'm also a Disney junkie. One Disney name I've liked since childhood is Kessie, Kessie. Kessie is the name of the little bluebird in the Winnie the Pooh series. Pooh. We should say don't name your child Pooh or Piglet.
But Winnie's okay.
Winnie's cute, but not...
Winifred or Winnie has become popular.
Yeah, just not Pooh or Piglet. I was wondering if you've ever heard it or have any other info about it, the meaning, origin, or why it was used for the character. I think it'd be a really pretty baby girl name, but do you think it's too strange or synonymous with the character? Thanks, Emily. Well, I think Kessie is a really pretty name, actually. And I don't think it's that popular because I'm not sure I've ever heard it.
I haven't either. I had to look it up. And the only thing I could find was that it was a diminutive, a nickname for names that start with K-E-S, like Kesha, Kessia, or even Keshet, which means rainbow in Hebrew.
Oh, that's pretty.
Yeah, Keshet. And I think it would be pretty as a baby girl name. I don't think it's too diminutive. It would be like Cassie.
Mm-hmm.
It's similar to that, which is a shortened version of Cassandra. So I say if you love it, go for it.
Yeah, me too.
And I wouldn't identify it with the little bird because I don't watch the Winnie the Pooh series.
Yeah, and didn't someone just name their baby Birdie? I mean,
Jessica Simpson.
I wouldn't go with Birdie, but I love Kessie.
Yeah, great alternative to Birdie. That's 10 times worse.
Ugh. Oh, actually, I think I like Birdie.
Have you forgotten your reaction?
I've changed my mind on Birdie. I used to love it, and now I think it's dumb.
I hate
Sorry,
it.
Birdie.
Sorry, Jess. Okay, here's the second one. Another Disney-related letter. To whom it may concern, I just wanted to inform you that the information you're giving people and about the name Darth is false. George Lucas did not come up with the name Darth. My mother did. I was born August 18, 1969. My full name is Darth Christian Medley. I was born in the morning in West Covina, California. Look it up. But no worries, I'm pretty sure I wasn't the first Darth ever born. Everyone is so fascinated with Star Wars, they think the name never existed until 1977. Ha 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 ha, LOL.
All right, well.
Okay.
Jennifer.
So, Darth, first of all, I couldn't find Darth Medley or Darth Christian Medley anywhere on the internet, which would be unusual for a 50-year-old not to be listed anywhere if you've had a life. However, I did plug it into one of those people searches and I found a Darthy, D-A-R-T-H-Y Medley, who is 84. But it said that one of her AKAs was Dorothy. So what Cleveland Kent Evans talked about in the Name Myths and Urban Legends episode, D-A-R-T-H-Y might have just been a misspelling of Dorothy or a dialect. Hi, my name is Dorothy, or she might have gone by Dorothy because people were saying Dorothy for Dorothy.
Or maybe she didn't want to be associated with the Wizard of Oz.
Maybe, because she's of that age, and it's hard to search the internet for Darth Medley without getting songs about Darth Vader. So I'm not sure I quite believe the email, but Darth, if you can send us any kind of proof, I'm happy to change that entry in the database.
I believe that there were Darths before Darth Vader. Sure, why not? I mean, there's a bazillion people in this world, and a bazillion people, someone's going to name their baby Darth. But I
don't have any evidence of that, though.
Right.
So if you have evidence out there of anyone being named Darth prior to 1977, let us know.
All right. Well, folks, we ask only one thing from you this holiday season, and that is if you love our show and have tuned in more than once, or even if this is your first time and you like what you hear, please take 2 minutes to give us 5-star rating and review on iTunes or wherever you listen.
We work really hard on each episode and work to bring you this content with minimal advertising, and it's free. So find it in your heart to gift us with a nice review and rating. Thank you.
And tune in next when we reveal
the top names of the year. And can you guess what they are?
Yorkie and Finey.
I doubt that, but I'm not saying. You'll have to keep tuning in. That's it for this week. Thanks for listening.
We love you guys, and we love our older sisters, Kate and Sue.
Yep, we do. Have a wonderful and filling Thanksgiving.
Now it's time to say goodbye to all our company. M-I-C.
See you real soon.
K-E-Y.
Why? because we like you.